coast to coast, it's your hosts, the Lombardi Leap and Mersey FB. This is Beyond the Frozen Tundra.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, the Lombardi Leap, here with Mersey FB. Let's talk Packers football, specifically a disappointing day.
Oh boy, was it ever. There was a little good, some bad, and a whole lot of ugly.
Yeah, I'm not even sure they got off the plane in Green Bay. Like, there's a lot of people who I could,
Yeah, they're still on the tarmac
honestly,
in Lambeau.
yes, yeah, there's a lot of guys who I could pick on today for sure. Lost by, so it's kind of ironic. We basically lost by a blocked field goal, because our field goal was blocked, and the Eagles won by a blocked field goal today.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, so who do you want to, you want to talk about the offense first, or do you want to talk about the defense first?
Let's.
I feel like there's less bad on the defense.
There's definitely less bad on the defense. The defense played well. I want to start with the offense and the offensive line. There was no reason why Tom should have played that game.
Absolutely not.
If he was kind of hurt. Like, there's no reason. You should just, like I said, sit him until the bye. Like, that's fine. I think that the game plan wasn't all there, and the offensive line showed because of it, because once he went down, the 5 that were on the field would not have been my 5 that I would have put on the field. And at this point, too, I'm kind of losing trust in Aaron Banks, even though he does have the groin injury.
He's the groin injury, and I thought he had an ankle injury, too, as well. So there's two things kind of going on there. I think it's important to note, too, that, like, Jordan Love was pressured on 42% of his dropbacks. My biggest issue is I've said this, Jordan Morgan can't play right side. He can't. Like, that's not who he is. Not every player is going to be a versatile offensive lineman. Jordan Morgan needs to stay on the left side. That
is why I would have started with him at left guard and then had Kennard at right tackle.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't understand why they keep trying to push versatility with certain guys who that's not who they are. And Jordan Morgan isn't one of those players. And that kind of messed him up the whole game. He had false starts, right?
Yeah, a couple false starts, 1 or 2 offsides, I think. Just a bad game from him.
Yeah, just an absolute bad game.
Which he flashed in the preseason, so it's kind of hard to see what happened. But again, I guess it's just like the threat of Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
They feel like they have to do whatever they can to
try and stop him.
And then I don't think the game plan was all there either.
No.
This week,
yeah, you knew it was going to be hard to run, and it was really hard to run the ball.
And then, I don't know why we're so insistent on that, running the ball. And I believe it was in the second quarter, before the John Fitzpatrick touchdown. They ran it 3 times. Or not before the second quarter, but in the third quarter, my bad. They ran it 3 times. Got, just to the line of scrimmage every time. It was not working.
Oh, yeah, it didn't do anything. Yeah, went absolutely nowhere. And I get wanting to extend the streak for Josh Jacobs, but there comes a point.
Yeah, that ended today.
Yeah, that did end. A lot of stuff ended today, including my patience for certain coordinators.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, Rich Bisaccia.
Yeah, remember, we're going to try and be rational on today's episode.
I feel like that is rational.
I've seen a lot of overreactions from today, but this is I feel like this is our 2010 week 3 gut punch.
Yeah.
We know what happened that season. Definitely needed to happen. Josh Jacobs, 16 carries for 30 yards, averaging 1.9 yards a carry. That's just can't happen.
And I get why that's happening too.
Yeah. I get why it's happening, but
just, you look at what happened with Elton Jenkins. Elton Jenkins was getting pushed around. Banks, like you said earlier, did not have a good game. Sean Ryan did not have a good game. They shouldn't have played Zach Tom. Rasheed Walker decided to talk trash and then made some boneheaded mistakes.
I don't think it was so much a trash. He was just very confident in the team. But then he did make the boneheaded mistakes. I think the offensive line was just not prepared well.
No, not at all.
I'm trying to figure out why. that they're just getting pushed around. It's weird that Elton has struggled so much to start the season.
I mean, we know that defensive tackles are kind of getting beefier, and that kind of seems to be the struggle a little bit. Well, no, honestly, I can't
Yeah.
even say that because look at what happened against the Commanders.
Oh yeah.
Like Payne is a good underrated defensive tackle, and they did a pretty good job. It honestly seems like
hmm
nobody got off the plane, or they forgot to get off the plane, or something. I don't know.
They just kind of thought they'd roll over the Browns and nothing happened, like the classic trap game
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I can think of is that they looked at the Browns' offense only and said, "We got this." And I mean, we talked about this last episode that this Browns defense is it's good.
Defense is good,
It's a
yeah.
very good defense.
hmm And they like allowed less yards per carry than the Packers. Like they were the top metric in that.
I mean, those are the two things realistically they came out. Okay, are you ready for my rant?
Yeah, and then I get a rant
Yes,
after.
you absolutely get a rant.
Okay.
Well, I'll get your opinion on it first. I'm over the
Yes.
Romeo Dobbs experience.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with that.
Here's why. Okay, Romeo Dobbs is the equivalent of James Jones in the offense. He's
Yeah.
reliable, but and I love James Jones. Like James Jones, awesome Packer.
I'd say more like Greg Jennings and
Well,
James Jones.
Greg
but-
Jennings played out of the slot a lot more.
Oh yeah, actually.
Here's why I say James Jones. Okay, I say James Jones because except for like a couple bouts, James Jones was very reliable. He was a very reliable target. And Jordan Love in the offense, they're treating him like Jordy Nelson, but
Yeah.
I'm talking Jordy Nelson towards the end of his career coming back from his ACL injury, and Devontae Adams is a rising star. And in this
Mhm.
case, Jordy, and this kind of, there's a lot to wrap your my head around this. But in this case, Jordy Nelson is the Romeo Dobbs. Devontae Adams is Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden's open every single time. Like it's there. But the first read is going to Dobbs.
Yeah.
Dobbs isn't known for his turn and burn speed. That's not who he is as a player. He's a reliable target on third down, which is awesome, and you need those players. But I don't think you need it. You need that player in this offense anymore because it's keeping this offense in neutral when you should be able to kick it into overdrive with Matthew Golden. Get Matthew Golden off the punt return unit, get him involved in this offense, just get him the ball. Like when they started to do that, it was 4 catches for 52 yards, averaging 13.5
Mhm.
yards per carry. Get your first round wide receiver the ball. I mean, even Dontavian Wicks is catching balls. I mean, you heard how many times did we hear Romeo Dobbs' name this time? Twice. And he was the first read on quite a few options. But
Drew a PI though, which was nice.
yeah, he did, which is fine. Like I said, it's great. But I think it's gotten to the point where Jordan Love, it almost feels like he's trying to pigeonhole it to him because he is reliable. I think if you want to get better, I think this is one of those instances where I actually do believe that it's going to be addition by subtraction because you're going to have Jaden Reed coming back in November. You're going to have Christian Watson coming back in a couple weeks, and those guys understand their place in the offense.
Yeah.
And I'm not so sure he should be a part of it moving forward. And maybe that's an overreaction. Maybe that's me being dramatic. But you spent a high pick on a wide receiver who is literally open every single time, and you're sticking him on punt returns. Stop. Please get him the ball. And you and I both talked about this when it came to Matthew Golden.
We weren't fans of
Yeah,
the
I was
pick,
not.
like,
I was not.
right? That's what, yeah.
Then I've seen him play in these last 3 games. I'm like, get the man the ball.
hmm
Get the man the ball. There's my soapbox for the day.
Yeah. Okay. My turn. I'm gonna preface this where I still believe in Matt LaFleur as a play caller, and I want him to keep his job. However, something has to change in the game plan and the play calling. You start out early, just like run, and I get it. You're trying to establish a run, open up play action. I know how football works. That's fine. There just gets to a point where you're banging your head against a brick wall, and it's not going to work anymore. And you just kind of need to play out of the shotgun and let Jordan Love kind of open things up, maybe use a little pre-snap motion, scheme guys open. If the run game's going nowhere, let it rip. Just let it rip. And I'm so tired of playing to not lose instead of playing for the kill or going for the win. Like, where's the aggressiveness in that like second half? All of these games so far, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of conservative garbage. Like, it really is when it comes down to that. And
LaFleur gets to like the game managing step too early.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes. Yeah. 100%. And you saw it.
The offense, the offense seems like it's just predictable. It's like run, play action. Also, why was Tucker Kraft not more involved in this game?
I wonder if was
it a knee thing? And probably a knee thing for him. Yeah.
Because they did say he'd play as much as possible. I don't know if he played all that much. I know that, I mean, we're talking about tight ends here. Fitzpatrick is probably tight end 2, to be honest, at this point. That's what it looks like.
They didn't even look Musgrave's way with the ball. You'd think if you're a receiver, if you don't have time for any like developing route with a receiver, you'd do something with the tight ends.
I mean, which they did on that one play. But the thing is, though, is you have to be able to block. And Musgrave isn't the greatest blocker. I mean, he puts effort into it. But he's not that. I mean, he's definitely limited by that. So I think that's what limited his effectiveness today a lot more than I expected it to be. Add the offensive line troubles on there. Was not fun offensively. And I mean, would you say Jordan Love had an overall bad game minus that boneheaded interception?
Okay, so I wouldn't put the interception entirely on him. This is another little rant. That play, the quick slant, it's a man-to-man coverage. He expects Delpit to run with Tucker. Delpit kind of like feints off of him, and with the mess of bodies that are in front of him, it's kind of hard for Jordan to see. And he's ripping it into the window where he thinks Dontavian will be open.
Okay, so that's just more of a good defensive play?
It's more of a good defensive play in my mind.
It did look ugly. It did look ugly.
Also, I think the throw was a little low.
Yeah, it was.
So, either way, Delpit was making a play on that ball, but it was definitely more of a good defensive play than it was Jordan Love making a mistake.
And I do know it did rain, so I kind of felt like there was a little bit of a shift in the way he was throwing. Because, I mean, he had those, like, 3 little dump passes where he missed. And it looks like it looked like the ball was just
He missed those high.
I don't think, but like I said, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to overreact and say, Jordan Love this, Jordan Love that. Outside of the one interception, Jordan Love had a pretty clean game for somebody who was getting pressured 42% of the time.
Yeah.
And not having a run game. That's the offense. Anything positive from the offense that we can get at all?
Matthew Golden. That was what I would say, but
yeah. And he blocked. He blocked well, actually, in my opinion.
He did block.
He put effort into it. I mean, compared to like the last 2 weeks, I felt like he earned his blocking award for getting in there and doing his thing. So I think that's probably the best.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably the best to highlight the offense.
I also think that when Christian Watson returns, a lot of the offensive problems that were experienced today will kind of be relieved a little because the Browns were just able to like sit and play everything kind of underneath to help with because of the pressure they were getting and take away all like the quick underneath throws. When someone who can just get open over the top immediately, like Watson, comes back, then it'll be kind of harder to do that.
Which goes to show you that Matthew Golden was not drafted to replace Christian Watson. He was drafted to replace Romeo Doubs.
Golden could do that too in theory, but like you've never seen him do it before. And I know they weren't able to block up front, right?
Nope.
But why aren't you just getting Matthew Golden in motion, a player who has a 4.29? He ran a 4.29, right?
Correct.
A player who runs a 4.29, a running start over the middle. Why aren't we doing that? Getting him crossing routes and everything. They wanted to force the run game. This is what's frustrating.
It's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And like, if you get the quick passing game going, it's going to open up the run game.
Like it was working like early in the game with RPOs and everything. And then they just went away from the RPOs.
I would say, yeah, I mean, speaking of RPOs, Savion Williams, I thought he had a pretty good game too, like overall, all things considered. I don't know why he's not back on punt returns. Why can't he do that?
He's a good kick returner. I feel like punt returning is not that much different.
He's a big dude as well. I don't know. I think for the offense, you got to go back to the drawing board. You don't have to go back to the drawing board. You know what I mean? But like, I think this is
No, you don't have to go to the drawing board. You just have to be more aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. It's just like start scheming a couple guys open, playing to win, playing to rack up more points instead of just losing.
It kind of seems like they're too worried about making a mistake, and if you just let it rip, those
Yeah.
mistakes that do eventually happen aren't going to be as
Mm-hmm.
detrimental because you're going to get big plays out of it.
Yes.
And that's who Jordan Love is. I love those big plays, and it'll help it'll help build the connection with Golden. I mean, obviously, like we said, you need to block up front,
Yeah.
but they need to stop playing so conservative. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Jordan took some bad sacks that game.
Yeah, but I think some of those sacks were to prevent an interception as well, to like not throw interceptions.
Yeah. But I don't know why, like, he just let Schlesinger hit him in the head early.
Yeah, that one was bad.
Like, that one was bad.
Yeah, that was probably the worst one. I mean, overall, though, like you said with the offense, you definitely have to be more aggressive. You're not gonna win with the big dogs by sitting back and watching the grass grow.
No. Now on to the defense.
What do you got for the defense?
You want to start with the bad?
Yeah, let's start with the bad.
Okay. I thought for the first time this season, our defensive tackles kind of got pushed around, which is kind of what's expected when you have like Joel Bentonio and Wyatt Teller as your guards. Like, they're great offensive linemen. And then Colby Wooden kind of got pushed around, and that's kind of also why Quinshon Judkins had 94 yards on 18 carries, averaged 5.2 yards a carry. That's the most we've given up in a game
He's
so
a big
far.
dude too.
Yeah, he's hard to bring down.
Yeah, I didn't like how Wooden played. I thought Carl Brooks did okay. He had a couple plays there.
Yeah.
Devontae Wyatt, I didn't really hear about him today.
Quiet. Hurt his ankle.
Oh,
I think.
okay. Not again. Man, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
I'm still and we'll talk about this over the bye week too. I do hope they kind of look to add to that room.
We'll have that corner episode over the bye week. I think Nixon got picked on. Valentine was fine again. Like, I don't know why you're not playing him more.
Yeah, I know. Every time he's out there, like, I never hear his name called. I think Hobbs got picked on once.
Yes.
Like, I want to say there was one play.
I think he got picked on once. Yeah, one throw or something. There were a couple throws where like the defender just kind of found his zone, or the receiver found his zone. And one of the field goal ones too is just the receiver got behind. I think it was Hobbs, because Hobbs sat in was it cover 3?
Yeah.
I think they were playing cover 3. I think they were playing cover 3. So Hobbs was in his zone, McKinney was in his zone, and they just kind of the receiver found the gap between them. And then so technically McKinney should have triggered down onto that receiver because no one was behind him, and Williams was carrying the guy going vertical up the right side of the field. So that should have been McKinney's responsibility, but he wouldn't have closed in time to break up the pass.
Yeah, he was off pretty far on him. I remember that now.
He was like 10, 12 yards off. So
and Williams also struggled today too. Like, just in general.
So there was a lot of like ticky-tack penalties that were called on the secondary. Like, a lot of them were just football plays. Like, a lot of contact going both ways. The one on Evan Williams specifically on the goal line when Cedric Tillman fell over is because he just tripped, and Williams was like kind of just keeping pace with him and hold hands close to him. So that was more of a tripping thing where the receiver tripped on his own and then just threw his arms out, was like, he tripped me, and then goaded the ref into making a call.
Wasn't it a late flag too? Like, I feel like that flag was late.
It was, yeah. It was after the play for sure. And then there was a lot of calls where if it's going against you, there is no way that it should have been a flag. And if it was going in favor of you, then you want it to be a flag every time. That's the best way I can describe it. There was and most of it was happening for the Browns. So Nixon and Bullard basically did the same thing, and I don't think it was enough to draw a penalty.
Yeah, I know Bullard. Yeah, Bullard had that one penalty that was pretty. I hope he's okay. He did get a concussion. I hope he's going to be good to go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he'll probably be fine. It was a scary moment, but he'll probably be fine. But he definitely made up for it though, like immediately after.
Yeah,
he had that holding penalty. He blew up the screen, and then these are all Nixon had no redeemable qualities this game
other than drawing the PI.
Yeah,
which I get that one. I mean, full arm extended into his face, kind of a thing, like
into his face, push off, like that one. That one's pretty clear. But just when you're kind of like have your hands like around the receiver, doesn't make it a penalty. He wasn't pulling jersey anything. He was just kind of like how you would kind of keep pace with someone around in the break. of the route. Like that's all that it was really.
I mean, Jared Jeudy, you didn't really. I mean, you heard his name called like what once or twice. Isaiah Bonds, they kept him pretty well. Who he seems to be like their de facto wide receiver too.
Tillman's the X. Jerry Jeudy's the Y. Isaiah Bonds is Z.
I don't know. I just think we're gonna come up with a team that has a good wide receiver 3 or a solid wide receiver 3, and I just think that Nixon's not going to be able to do anything. And I do think that does limit us defensively too as well because you can't rotate him.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think you can survive with or not survive. I think Hobbs on the outside, CV on the other side, and Bullard in the slot, like I think is like playable. Yeah. Like that's fine. That's like an average secondary.
I mean, Bullard can at least play the line of scrimmage, unlike Nixon.
Yeah. And I think Bullard's kind of figuring if Bullard's just the nickel, he can figure out coverage again.
Yeah, it definitely like the one penalty he got, that was definitely technical. That wasn't anything like athletic limiting.
And it was like a 50-50 penalty too. I think if the ball wasn't thrown at that receiver, it wouldn't.
I don't know. I thought he grabbed him pretty good. I thought he grabbed him pretty good because he just didn't seem like he was ready for the snap. So it was more of a timing thing. That's just how it looked. Like I said, it just felt like it wasn't anything physically limiting on Bullard's part. It was more of just a technical lapse. That's what it looked like. And there are some people who obviously like say that Bullard's the weakest part of the secondary, and I think that's an absolutely egregious thing to say when it's Nixon. Yeah, like anybody who doesn't think it's Keyshawn Nixon doesn't watch what's actually going on out there, because you can't rotate Nixon in the slot. I can rotate Hobbs into the slot. I can rotate Carrington Valentine into the slot because I wouldn't, but you can though, especially against those quicker slot wide receivers, those smaller guys.
Yeah,
you can.
I don't know, Jim. I don't know.
You can. I wouldn't do it all the time, but it's better than Nixon.
He's definitely better than Nixon.
Like you at least have you have more of I'm more comfortable. I'd be more comfortable in doing that rotation than I would be having Nixon go anywhere near the slot at this point, because he's a bad slot corner and he's a below average boundary corner who's pretty much relegated to wide receiver 3s and 4s.
Yeah, I'll say that the Washington game was an outlier in his career and is not. If you saw him play that game, it is not a good representation of how he normally plays.
Well, speaking of the Washington game too, again, those are like all the plays were on wide receiver 3s and 4s.
I thought he had one on Terry.
He had one on Terry, but I'm pretty sure a defensive end was screaming down Jaden Daniels' throat.
Oh yeah,
at that point. So he didn't really have an option. Like it was a good play. It was a good play. I'll give Nixon props when he deserves it. And he still had to make the play there on Terry. And he did. But that was probably the flukiest thing there. And then you can kind of see what's going to happen when the pass rush maybe isn't up to par, even though I wouldn't even say that.
Gary got 2 sacks. So like he was the one positive on the field today. Van Ness wasn't horrible.
Van Ness had a couple good moments. Obviously, Micah Parsons got a little too eager beaver.
Yeah.
A little too.
I would say that I'll have a conversation about this later involving Micah and everything. The pass rush was like fine. You see what happens when you have when you're playing against good guards with those defensive tackles. And then they got away with a lot with their tight ends.
Oh my goodness.
Like a lot after the catch, which was surprising to me.
Yeah. Very much. And I would even say they got away with a lot on Micah Parsons. Again, like I don't understand.
Yeah.
Just because a dude is that good doesn't mean you can't throw. That doesn't mean you shouldn't throw a flag. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, because Micah Parsons was held a lot. And I mean a lot.
That's what I was going to talk about later. I was going to be like, the refs are missing a lot of like either hands to the face or like holding penalties on the offensive line.
Because Joe Flacco was who we thought he was for a quarterback.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think like the biggest takeaway offensive, before we kind of rant about special teams for 2 minutes here. But I mean, just defensively, like Gary's having a good season at least.
Gary was good. I felt that you saw more of like the 2024 Quay this game too, which wasn't a good thing.
Really?
Like he was letting everything kind of come to him a little more.
Yeah.
also people were just bouncing off of Cooper. So I don't know what was
I
happening.
didn't even, now that I think about that too, this was a weird game.
It was a weird game to just not see Edge wrap up every tackle that like he hits. But also he's kind of that was happening early, like throughout the whole season too so far. Like he had some of those moments in the Lions game and the Commanders game, but they weren't as like glaring.
He's trying to focus too hard on punching the ball out than he is actually wrapping them up.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, I did notice that on the Judkins play, or no, not the Judkins play, the Harold Fanning play. The Harold Fanning play, Quay hits him, and Fanning.
Then Cooper hits him. They just thought he would go down or like give himself up, but he just kept like chugging.
He did. Yeah, he spun and then he kept going, and then they're trying to hit the ball out too. And I'm like, dude, just tackle the dude. Yeah. Just get him. I'm glad you want a turnover, but let's get the guy down. Let the turnovers come to you, kind of a thing here. He said he got an extra. What he got? I think he got an extra like 5 yards off that.
Yeah. Xavier McKinney got an interception, but probably would have been better situationally if he like blocked that pass.
Yeah, because it was 4th and 8.
Yeah, but like I can't blame him for wanting the interception.
A little bit. We lost by a field goal, so yeah, I can blame him.
Yeah. And yeah, didn't Keyshawn Nixon earlier in the season say that he was CB1? Like he can play like a true.
In the off season, he says he wanted. In the off season, he said he wanted to.
He's got to prove it. Like he can't letting this happen to him. When you have a corner who's better than him statistically, just sitting on the bench, they gotta play him.
And it's not like you're paying Keyshawn Nixon a lot of money, because you're not.
No, he's got a pretty cheap contract, right? It's like return. It's like return player or. Kick return.
Yeah, slot wide or slot cornerback.
Kick return money. Yeah. So
like it's not stupid money, and I don't care. And if he cries, like I don't care. Like I want the best player out there. I'm serious because he.
No, I know, but the way he said it was hilarious.
Like he posts on X like it's a middle, like he's a middle school girl reading their diary sometimes. I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, I want you to be a good corner.
You're an awful corner.
But you're not, exactly. Like, bench him. Start Valentine. Start Hobbs opposite of him. And I don't know if some of it, too, is for Hobbs, is they're trying to get him up to speed because he did miss some stuff. I like the fact that they like to hit.
That's, I think, one of the things that's keeping Carrington Valentine off the field.
Yeah.
He isn't the most physical corner, and it's kind of like teaching him to like be a form tackler and willing
Which
tackler.
I get it, because that was one of the reasons why he did fall in the draft and why he didn't play as much last year as well, was because of his tackling ability. But he has the finesse coverage ability.
Yeah, he's definitely the better
Absolutely.
corner. Like that's known.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully. Maybe by the bye week we see some changes. That'll be kind of interesting to see what's going to come up. I know that the NFL trade deadline is November 5th this year. So,
it's in November? It's week 10, right?
Yeah, it got pushed. It did get pushed back because they added the extra game. So it's that Tuesday. Or November 4th. Sorry, November 4th is the NFL trade deadline.
Okay.
I'm going to kind of keep an eye on here, especially when it comes to if you want to take this defense
drastic measures.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about some hypotheticals during the bye week coming up because we played Dallas, who's banged up. CD hurt his ankle, and we'll talk about that as we'll have that episode come out Friday.
Thank goodness.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of a love-hate thing with that.
Yeah, like it's horrible that he hurt himself, but we don't have to watch Keyshawn Nixon.
I kind of wanted to be honest. But I digress here. Speaking of Keyshawn Nixon and punt returners and kick returners, I know we said we wouldn't overreact about anything.
Good segue.
I know, right? I know we said we wouldn't overreact, but I feel like the biggest overreaction would be at this point, I don't know how Rich Bisaccia.
You want to blame the guy who hasn't returned a kick all
Absolutely.
season? Unless he has and I just missed it.
Yeah, I want to blame Keyshawn Nixon. No, I want to blame his boss.
Yeah. Even Rich Bisaccia is a special teams coordinator and assistant head coach. That's his official title. they promoted him to assistant head coach to keep him around instead of retiring, I think.
Yes, I believe so.
I don't know why. I would have sent him on his merry way. I guess they think he's like a good leader.
He's a locker room guy.
He also helps. He's a locker room guy. LaFleur has also stated that he helps him with in-game decisions and kind of like controlling the clock and everything.
Well, he should stop.
He should stop.
To put it bluntly.
He should stop. They should get definitely someone else in that role.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things for Matt LaFleur where he again holds on to
people way
too long. And that includes Adam Stenavich.
I think it's getting close to replacing him as well. Again, someone who you promoted to keep him on the roster or to keep him on the staff, sorry. But I think he was a better offensive line coach than he is offensive 100%. Coordinator.
I 100% agree with that. I think that has affected the game.
I would take the assistant head coach title away from Bisaccia after the season.
Assuming he's still around.
Well, yeah, assuming he's still around. I would give the assistant head coach title to Hafley as a way to kind of say, please stick around. Please, I beg you.
Yes, assuming he's still around.
Yeah, but I think that I know not necessarily Matt LaFleur, but Stenavich and Bisaccia seem to be on the more conservative side.
Yeah, and I don't like that. And I do think that with Ed policy and what he's doing here, there's a short leash for some of these guys on the coaching staff. Like I do believe that. I understand it's Matt LaFleur's team, and he made a great hire in Jeff Hafley, but with holding on to Steno, holding on to Bisaccia, even though I know he's a locker room guy, I think that you're on the outside looking in with two of those guys right now.
Assuming you fire Adam Stenavich, what do you do with Luke Butkus?
I think he can stay in the offensive line room. I've seen improvements there, and I think a lot of it too is game planning to kind of help everything. Yeah. And that comes back to the game planning goes back to Steno and Matt LaFleur as them being the issues over that. So I do think this is one of those things where you let Steno go, and I think it would be good to bring in an outside guy here instead of just promoting from within. And like ultimately too, like let's say here, Magic Fairyland, Hafley gets hired somewhere else. Okay. Hafley's obviously going to pick some people from the Packers to go there, to go with him.
I think he'd take Downard and Duggan. Maybe who's their pass game coordinator too?
Ainsley, I think, would be in line to be the next defensive coordinator, if not. Yeah, I think.
No, I think Covington's the next defensive coordinator.
Because I didn't like him. I didn't think he was that good of a defensive coordinator. The Patriots.
Well, depending on how much he learns from
True.
Hafley.
I mean, I always felt like Ainsley would be the next in line for the defensive coordinator job here. That's how it felt.
Okay.
Because did Hafley bring in Ainsley? I thought he did. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
So I'd say Ainsley's next in line for defensive coordinator, just kind of based on that. That's what I would do. And yeah, I think that would be a wiser than DeMarcus Covington.
Yeah.
So I know what I'd get with DeMarcus Covington, and I think he's better I think he's a better D-line coach than he is a defensive coordinator.
Defensive coordinator. Yeah.
Yeah, I think offense.
Well, to be fair, the talent he was working with in New England wasn't the same as what he would have now.
True. That is very, very true. Micah Parsons does help things. And Rashawn Gary. I'll give him flowers too.
Edge too, like just I think a better defensive roster with the exception of corner.
Yeah, he had Gonzo over there.
Yeah.
I think you burn the tape. Just kidding. Don't. I mean, this team can go in one of two directions. They can either.
I think it's only going.
I
up
do
from
too.
Here. Like I think this was like not rock bottom, but this was like the wake up call, being like, "Hey, we just have to be all around better." And I think too, maybe We had the 10-day break before
Yes.
this, right? Yeah. So we don't have like that long of a break anymore to get like complacent or anything.
Well, you have a bye week. You do
Right.
have a bye week coming up after the Cowboys game.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to think here. Did any of our players actually that we said would be good? Were they good? I mean, Matt, you said Matthew Golden. And
Did
you
I?
said you said it.
Well, I can never remember who I say after for these. I gotta start writing
I
them
know,
down
me
somewhere.
too. You said Matthew Golden. I said Luke Musgrave. That obviously did not happen at all.
Did I say Gary? I think I said
do
Gary
believe
too.
You said Gary. Yeah, you were 2 for 2 this week. And then
Okay.
I was.
Individually, like they had a
Yes.
good games, but as a team, it was kind of like whoa. But
I think my
I'll take my victory lap.
unfortunate victory lap was I said of all the games that I felt like Jordan Love was going to throw an interception. It was
Oh,
going
no.
to be this game, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, it happened.
Mhm.
On to the next week. On to Dallas.
On to
We're
next
still
week.
2-1.
Oh, I forgot to mention this for the Love interception, but it's going to be interesting to see what JT O'Sullivan has to say about this
Oh
game.
yeah.
So that will probably give some clarity too, as well, on just the
I
offensive
hope he
play.
just affirms that.
It wasn't Love's fault.
Yeah, it wasn't Love's fault
entirely.
entirely. And I hope JT O'Sullivan just kind of reaffirms my belief that the first read is Dobbs and it shouldn't be Dobbs. It needs to be Golden. That's what I hope it is. That's my hope
Yeah.
and prayer.
I agree with you there. I mean, next week's Dallas.
They lost to the Bears today, pretty handedly.
I get yeah.
But
mhm.
they're
Can't believe we're saying that
pretty
one.
depleted. We'll take a look. That episode will come out Friday.
yeah.
And by that point too, we'll be able to have a better look at their injury report, see who may not play. Be able to take a look at Green Bay's injury report here moving forward. I mean, of all the games, I don't want Zach Tom playing, to be honest. I don't think he should play.
No. There's no reason he should play.
There's no reason he should play until the Bengals.
I think you just you rotate through Belton and Kennard at right tackle.
Absolutely.
Because who's their biggest threat off the edge? Dante Fowler? He's like 34.
And they just signed Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah. Well, he's also
Yeah.
old.
So we'll talk about that next time. Thanks for joining in our misery. That's all for today, folks.
To Packers fans coast to coast, thanks for going beyond the frozen tundra. We appreciate you tuning in. And as always, go Pack Go!